Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, ma'am.
I hope I'm audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, should we start?
Yes, ma'am.
Last class we had learned about cellular telephone networks. I had told you what are cellular telephone networks, how do they work, what are they made up of. We know now in a cellular telephone network there is a cell which has got a base station, a mobile station, a mobile switching center, and with the help of these components, transmission and receiving of signals in a cellular telephone network happens. Okay. So now what we are going to learn, we also learned in the last class this important principle which is used in cellular telephone networks, and that is called as frequency reuse principle. The radio frequency, which is a very limited and precious resource, is reused in different cells, and it is reused in such a way that no two adjacent cells are going to get the same frequency. So in the diagram, you can see a reuse factor of 4 or a reuse factor of 7, so that the same radio frequency can be reused again and again. Okay. Now we had also learned about different generations of cellular telephones, like what we know about 3G, 4G, 5G. That G stands for generation. So we had first generation, which were analog cellular telephones. Then we had second generation, which were digital. One important standard that was developed was GSM. And in third generation, most of your applications, that is the data as well as voice uh, uh, methods, or you can say communication services, were available through the third generation data cellular telephones. Okay. So now what we are going to learn today is about sonnet. Now you people must have heard this word called as sonnet somewhere in English literature, isn't it? Do you know what is a sonnet?
Yes, ma'am.
What is a sonnet?
It is a 14 lines. 14 lines it will contain.
Poem it is, right? It's a type of poetry, and it contains generally 14 lines. Okay. So that sonnet is different. This sonnet is different. Sonnet here stands for synchronous optical network. Excuse me. Sonnet stands for synchronous optical network. Okay. And it is developed by American National Standards Institute, that is ANSI. So what is this sonnet? It is a standard which is developed for fiber optic transmission systems. In the sense, if you have certain networks which work on fiber optics or optical fibers, we have learned about optical fibers. It is a transmission media which allows you to transmit the data in the form of light, and light travels at very high speed. So if you're transmitting your data in the form of light, then your data speed is also very high. What you hear now, that is GeoFiber or FiberNet, they are all optical fiber based network. Okay, so for such optical fiber based networks, one important standard was developed by ANSI, that is American National Standards Institute. It's a standards making institute. Okay, they have developed this standard called ASCII also. We have learned about ASCII, no? For every character on your keyboard, there's a ASCII value. So just like ASCII, ANSI has developed a standard which is used in optical fibers or networks which make use of fiber optics. For such transmission systems where optical fibers are used, we make use of a standard which is called as SONET. Okay, so have a look at all the 3 points that are there. SONET stands for Synchronous Optical Network, and it is developed by ANSI. ANSI stands for American National Standards Institute. It is a standards making organization which comes up with different standards that can be used for different purposes. One such standard is SONET, and SONET can be used for optical fiber based network. Okay, so we will start learning about SONET, or what does SONET contain. Now, when the developers of SONET, that is ANSI, came up with this standard, as a part of the standard, ANSI has developed a set of signals, a set of different transmission modes, which allows us to transmit the data at different speeds. And these are called as STS, Synchronous Transmission System, or Synchronous Transport Signals. STS stands for Synchronous Transport Signals. Now, what are these signals? These signals allow you to transmit the data through an optical fiber, and each signal supports a different data speed. So if you can have a look at this particular table, there are different columns. I want you to have a look at the first 3 columns only. The 4th column is not useful for us. The first 3 columns we will have a look. What is the first column? STS. What is the second column? OC. OC stands for optical cable. And the third column is rate. Rate is data speed, data rate. Given in Mbps, means given in megabits per second. So if you can see that first 3 columns of the table, you all can observe there are different STS, STS1, STS3, STS9, STS12, and so on, up to STS 192. Now this STS1 1 to STS 192, whatever is shown in the table, they are certain standard signals. So there is STS1 and there is STS3. STS2 was also there, but it has not been standardized. Rather, STS3, then STS9 has been standardized. Once again, I'm telling you, STS stands for Synchronous Transport Signals. What are these signals? They allow you to transmit the data in the form of light. So STS1 is supported by a cable, optical cable, which is called as OC1. So you have to see the first row. Can you see the first row? STS1 is a standard signal. It is supported by an optical cable which is called as OC1. And if we use OC1 in our network, then OC1 will support a data rate of 51.840 Mbps. Understanding this? So if you are using STS1 or OC1 for in your network, OC1 cable, standard cable, if you are using, then you will get a speed, a data rate of 51.840 Mbps. Similarly, if you decide to use STS3, if you want STS3, the cable that you should use is OC3. And if you use OC3, then you will be able to get a data rate of 155.520 Mbps. So like that, all different STS are there. For example, if you're looking at STS96, if you want to implement STS96 in your network, the kind of cable that you should have is called as OC96, optical cable 96, and it will support a data rate, very high data rate of 4976.64 Mbps. Now, if you look at the table, from small data rate, it is going upwards. That is, you are going higher in the data rates. So if you're observing the STS signals from STS1 to STS96, different STS signals are there. Depending on the type of network, depending on the need of your organization, depending on the need of your network, you can choose any one among these and try to implement them. But if you choose a particular STS, you should have the corresponding OC cable, that is optical cable. That cable will only be able to support that much amount of data rate. Everybody's understanding this? So SONET data rates are, there are many speeds at which SONET can operate. Depending on the need of your organization and depending on the need of your network, you can choose any one of the different STS signals that are there. STS stands for synchronous transport signals. They will allow you to transmit the data in the form of light. And for supporting a particular STS, you will require a particular optical cable. Okay. Now, apart from this, in SONET standard, that is ANSI, has also standardized SONET devices. Now, how it has standardized SONET devices? You must know what are these SONET devices. When you use an optical network, there are going to be different devices used in the network as is shown in this diagram. First of all, if you're looking at the diagram from the left-hand side, there is a device which is shown or depicted as T. T stands for terminal. T means terminal. Any device, any computer, any mobile phone that is used at the ends as a source and the destination, that is called as a terminal. Since it is at the ends, it is known as terminal. So there can be multiple terminals on the sending side. There can be multiple terminals on the receiving side. So T stands for terminal. Terminal is nothing but the source or the destination. So source means where data gets generated and destination means where data is reached. So at the source, data will be generated. At the destination, it will sync. That is, it will reach the destination. So terminals could be your laptops, they can be computers, they can be mobile phones, they can be personal digital assistants, they can be any type of communicating device, a cellular telephone, it could be any type of communicating device which can get connected to an optical network. So terminals are at the ends, and many of such terminals are connected to devices which are called as STS multiplexers. Now, what is STS? I told you just now. It is a type of signal, synchronous transport signal. This STS multiplexer, you know what is a multiplexer? We have learned in the previous semester. Multiplexer is a device which takes the data from different devices, from different sources, combines them, and then transmits them as a single signal to the destination side. So you can see the diagram on the left-hand side. We have many terminals. Each of these terminals will be sending signals. These signals will be obtained by STS multiplexer. The STS multiplexer will combine them and then transmit them over an optical cable. So if you can see this dark color black line, that is a OC, optical cable. When we are transmitting over a long distance, the data, the signal may get weak, may become weak. To revise the signal, to revive the signal, there are certain devices used in a network which is depicted in this diagram as R. R stands for regenerator. So we have learned in the previous semester, repeaters, digital repeaters we learned. They are nothing but regenerators. What do repeaters or regenerators do? Regenerators will repeat the signal, will revive the signal. Suppose your signal has become weak, it has become distorted, there is noise in the signal, then that can be made better, amplified and regenerated with the help of these devices which are shown as R. So in your network, there is a STS multiplexer. It will multiplex the data, combine it and send. On the way, there can be many regenerators. These regenerators will revive the signal or amplify the signal. And in the network, you can also come across these devices which are called as, which are shown in this diagram as ADM. ADM stands for add drop multiplexer. Now what does this add drop multiplexer do? Suppose there are signals which are coming from different sides, from different terminals. Right now in this diagram only one signal is shown. Suppose there's some signal coming from this side. Let me use annotation here. Suppose you have a signal coming from this side, or suppose you have a signal coming from this side. What does that mean? You already are transmitting a signal. There are other devices which are, sending the signal. Then when they come to a ADM, that is to a add drop multiplexer, the add drop multiplexer will be capable of adding the signal and also dropping the signal. Adding the signal means, suppose this is the signal that you are sending. There is one more device which is sending a signal. There's one more device which is sending a signal. This ADM is like a multiplexer only. It will not only be able to add certain signals, it will be able to send the signals to other devices in other directions also. So that is why the name given to it is add drop multiplexer. A multiplexer which is capable of taking the tributaries and adding them to one stream. I think you people have come across this word called as tributary. When you have rivers, no, big rivers, small tributaries will come and join it. Tributaries are smaller rivers, so they will come and join the big river and it becomes even bigger. So when add drop multiplexer is there, there can be signals which are coming from different devices. Add drop multiplexer is able to add the signal to the existing path and also remove them and send them in different to different devices depending on the need. That is why the ADM is concerned with adding the tributaries and removing the tributaries, that is adding the signals and removing the signals from a current path. Okay. Apart from this, at the other end, what you will have is STS demultiplexer. Just like we have a multiplexer on one side, the demultiplexing happens at the other side. So if you have combined a signal on one side, the other side will split it and send it to the respective devices. Okay. So now we should know which are the different types of SONET devices. All of you can look in the diagram. The first device that we have is called as a terminal. The second device that we have is called as a regenerator. The third device that we have is called as STS multiplexer. The next device is called as STS demultiplexer. And one more type of standard device that is used in a SONET network is add drop multiplexer. So you should know the working or the function of each. T is a terminal. Terminal can be source or destination. They are nothing but devices which allows us to generate the data and to read the data. So terminals can be laptops, they can be computers, mobile phones, personal digital assistants. They can be any devices through which you can communicate. Then we have this STS multiplexer, which will multiplex your signals. Multiple signals are combined together with the help of a STS multiplexer. Then we have a device which is called as a regenerator. A regenerator will amplify the signal. It is a repeater which will revive the signal. If the signal has become weak, it will make it strong. And then we have another device which is called as add drop multiplexer, which is similar to STS multiplexer, but it is capable of adding more signals or removing certain signals from the path. Okay. And then we have a device which is called as STS demultiplexer that will split the data or demultiplex the data and send it to respective destinations. Now, when we have different SONET devices, there are different connections that are formed among these devices. Accordingly, we have what we call as a section or a line or a path. I want you all to have a look at this part of the diagram down. If you all can see this part of the diagram. Everybody is able to see this part of the diagram. So in a SONET network, there are different connections that are created between devices. Accordingly, we get a section, we may get a line, or we may come across a path. So we should know what is meant by section. Section is the connection between any two devices in a SONET network. What is a section? It is a connection between any two devices in a SONET network. So look at this. STS multiplexer is connected to a regenerator. So what gets created here? Section. A regenerator is connected to another regenerator. So what gets created here? A section. Okay, it's not very clear in the diagram. A regenerator is connected to a ADM, that is add drop multiplexer. So what is created here? A section. A add drop multiplexer is connected to another regenerator. So a section. Regenerator is connected to STS multiplexer. Again, what gets created is a section. So what is a section in a SONET network? The connection between any two adjacent devices is called as a section. Then we have this definition of what is a, we have this definition of what is meant by a line. Now, it's not very clear, but all of you can see this. A line is the connection between any two multiplexers. What is a line? Connection between any two multiplexer. So these are not directly connected. So you all can see this diagram. STS multiplexer is not directly connected to ADM, but indirectly via the regenerators it is connected. So the connection between STS multiplexer and ADM is called as a line. Similarly, you all can see one more line here. From ADM to STS demultiplexer. So connection between any two multiplexers is called as a line. Then the connection between any two end devices is called as a path. End devices means the terminals that exist here. Can you see this? This diagram is really not clear, but can you see path? What is a path? The connection between any two end devices. They are not directly connected. Through multiple intermediate devices, they are connected. But terminal at one end and the terminal at another end together is called as a, that whole connection is called as a path. So all of you can see we have sections. Okay. Everybody is able to see the section. Then we also have lines. Okay. And what we have is path. All right. So we should be able to define them. What is a section? Section is the connection between any two adjacent devices. Okay. Line is the connection between any two multiplexers. And path is the connection from end to end, from terminal to terminal. From one end to other end, that connection is called as a path. This is how you define your SONET setup or the SONET configuration. I hope I'm clear whatever I have told till here. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. Everybody is clear till here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, someone is asking me there was a OSI reference model. You people didn't tell me in the beginning and I kept on teaching.
No, ma'am, we were waiting for you.
Yeah,
We are already.
you will tell me in advance that you are giving a presentation. I completely forgot. Okay, so when
we are already ready.
You are ready? Very good. Should we have it tomorrow then? Or you want to do it today only?
Today only we'll do it, no? Because again tomorrow.
Why today only?
Ma'am, we are prepared now.
OSI model and TCP both.
Okay, fine. You want to do it now?
Yes, ma'am.
Ask your whole group and decide.
They are ready already.
Okay, fine. I will stop here. Do you have any doubts in this? Will you be able to finish in 15 minutes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I will do one thing. I will make one of you the host and I will stop my presentation. All of you can enter your attendance.
Ma'am, make Pooja as a host. Pooja Boranawar.
Okay.
She will be sharing this.
All right. And I don't want anybody to leave the class. If I find anybody leaving the class, I mind you, I will not give you attendance throughout the semester. Where is Pooja? Okay. Pooja, raise your hand again. Yeah, I have made you the host, okay? Now you can share your slide.
Okay, ma'am. I'm audible.
Yes, you're audible.
Good morning, everyone. I, Pooja Bornor, and my team are here to present on a topic OSI reference model. So let us now begin with the today's topic OSI, that is Open System Interconnection. At the very beginning of the 20th century, there was no framework to interconnect two computers of different architecture. Like,
Pooja,
ma'am.
1 minute. I will just mute myself and I'll stop my video. You can start your video, okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Start your video. Whosoever is presenting, you can start your video.
Shall I start, ma'am?
Yes, you can start.
At the very beginning of the 20th century, there was no framework to interconnect two computers of different architecture, like the most common and widely used OSI, Windows, and Apple Mac. Till the year 1977, all the vendors were facing the same problem. And ISO thought of solving this problem with designing the framework which eases the interconnecting of two computers. Here, ISO stands for International Organization of Standardization. Now, it is easy with the help of OSI reference model. We can connect the computer with other computer easily. What is OSI? It is widely accepted and simply a conceptual framework that can be used to understand how data is transferred from one computer to another computer. In this framework, OSI model is divided in 7 different layers, wherein each layer performs separate function and has different role in interconnection. These are the 7 layers. It is a diagram where we can see two computers connecting with OSI model in which it starts with the physical layer and follows through data link layer, network layer, transport layer, session layer, presentation layer, and application layer. These all the layers in sending end devices are linked with receiving end devices respectively. So let us know functions of first layer, that is physical layer. It's responsible for movement of bits from one node to another. The medium of transmission are twisted pair, coaxial cable, optical fiber, radio waves, and many more. This layer takes care of transmission speed. Both the sender and receiver must be and synchronized, which refers to the way two or more communication devices are attached to communication devices. Devices are attached to linked. Here, line configuration, it is also referred as a connection. It refers to way in which endpoints or computer systems are attached to network or interconnected. It has three different modes: simplex and half duplex and full duplex. Takes care of conversion of data to bits. Now, to explain next layer, I would like to call Arpita Poddar. Over to you. Arpita.
Okay, who is going to do the next part?
Next part, physical layer, Pratiksha.
Sorry, Pratiksha.
Yes.
Good morning, everyone. Myself, Pratiksha Kurchi. Today, I am going to tell about data link layer. It is the second layer of OSI reference module. It accepts the raw bits from the physical layer and group them into frames. Frames are nothing but they arrange the bits from physical layer into logical sequences, are called as frames. The data link layer will accept the raw bits from the physical layer and then group them into frames. And it is responsible for moving frames from one node to another. It is also responsible for moving frames. It is also responsible for moving frames from one node to another. And it also detects the errors in the frames that checks whether the frames are lost or damaged. If so, then it requests retransmission of the frames. During the transmission of frames, if one frame got error, then it requests to retransmit the frames. It is also concerned with flow control. Flow control is a technique that allows two stations working at different speeds to communicate with each other. Medium access control, it is responsible for flow control and multiplexing of transmission of medium, and it is also take care of who can access the link. Thank you.
Arpita.
Network layer. Hello, everyone. I'm going to tell about network layer. Network layer handles the routing and sending of a data between different networks. The function of a network layer is routing and the logical addressing of a network. And The most important protocols at this layer are IP and ICMP. That is, IP stands for Internet Protocol, and ICMP stands for Internet Control Message Protocol. And this network layer is responsible for the delivery of packets from the original source to the final destination. Here, the packet means the data sent over internet is broken down into a smaller chunks. Those are called as packets. Anything that has to do with the inner network connection takes place at this layer. And that's all.
Okay, I think we will stop here. Is Pooja able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I think we will continue tomorrow because we have very
Okay,
little
ma'am.
time left.
Okay, ma'am.
And whosoever is going to give a presentation, please tell your family members to maintain silence. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
And I think Sai Prakash, give me a call and talk to me after this presentation. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you. We will surely continue tomorrow.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, can we
Yes,
start
ma'am.
at the beginning of the class
Yes,
tomorrow?
Yes. Tomorrow you start at the beginning. Okay?
Okay, ma'am. Yeah. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.